We're going to record this meeting, so thank you, Lynette. I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm Patty Cox. I'm with the University of Montana and located at the Missoula Apex Accelerator. And with us today on the call is Lynette. She's with our Southwest Montana Apex, and Josie with our Lewistown Apex. And then Shannon and Mariah, they're also on the call from our Great Falls Apex. So thanks everyone for being here. If you're just getting into the meeting, just take a moment to type your company name and your name into the chat. That's helpful for our tracking who attends. And today, when we're going through the webinar, feel free to answer a question. To ask questions as you go. If something pops up, we will have time at the end also to answer questions, but just raise your hand. At the bottom of your screen, you can float over the bar that says reactions, and you can raise your hand, and Lynette will be looking for those if people have questions, or you can just type the question into the chat. So I'm so glad you're all here today. I think a few more people are still hopping on, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Today we're going to do a webinar that talks about how to next best steps for you to take after you register in SAM. It's a high-level overview of the government contracting research and techniques to help you learn more about how to make progress with government customers. So today's agenda is to just help you develop a focused strategy for your government contracting marketing plan. You want to be able to learn where you fit in the market and also how the government buys what you sell. So we're going to cover several different topics that can help you through this process and to learn more wherever you are in the journey. We assume that the businesses that attend this meeting are already registered in SAM, but if for some reason you're just still getting started or you're not registered yet, know that your Apex Accelerator is here to help you with all different kinds of services, including getting registered in the System for Award Management, which is the federal database for companies who want to work with the federal government. Today, we're going to cover the services that we offer and provide some tips and pathways to understanding where your product fits in the government market. We're going to talk a little bit about how to do the market research and also finding other opportunities, such as with the state of Montana or your local counties and cities. We're also going to touch briefly on the federal acquisition regulation that governs all procurement with the federal agencies, and talk a little bit about contract types. So the Montana Apex Accelerator, we were formerly known as PTAC. Some of it, you might have known us as that. We're a statewide program with 6 centers. And these 6 centers are outlined in this color-coded map, so you can go to our website to find the Apex counselor that's closest to you, and they will be able to help you with your government contracting questions and steps. When you, we have our Kalispell Apex, and Jill Duval is the advisor there. And then in Great Falls, we have Shannon Clancy and Mariah Rabin. And then in Lewistown, we have Josie Eads, Kelly. I never can say her last name exactly right. Josie, can you help me there?
Yeah, so I also have Kelly McCardle-Klepsig here with me in the office.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that, Kelly. And then in Billings, we have our statewide program manager, Deanna Langman, and also a government contracting advisor, Teresa Brownell. Southwest Montana is Lynette Engelhardt, and myself here in Missoula. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about our services. We provide a very broad range of services to help you learn. The Montana Apex program's mission is to educate. So we can show you how, with hands-on technical assistance and one-on-one counseling, to do a lot of different things to help you move forward and add the government customer to your market, to your sales. And so we teach you the market research, how to identify opportunities. We know we will review solicitations and help you with bid proposals and make sure everything's put together correctly. So when you're ready to put a bid in or a quote on an opportunity, you're ready. We help demystify all the rules and regulations around government contracting by helping you to, know where to go look and also answer your questions that might be guiding compliance or rules that are in any government agreement you might have through the two main regulations, the Federal Acquisition Regulation, and then again, the Code of Federal Regulation. We offer a wide range of training events and matchmaking events to help you network with other businesses and with the agencies that you want to work with, and also training on a lot of different types of topics that can help you continue to learn. We provide hands-on technical assistance with all different types of registrations and different web portals. As you're going through the process of government contracting, you'll find that there are a lot of different ways to access and where places you will have to register. We can sit side by side with you and help you learn if you are eligible for any small business certifications. These are managed by the SBA, and we'll talk a little bit about those later. We also will give you guidance on how to be compliant with the cybersecurity rules of federal contracts, and also any kind of contract performance requirements, post-award support, any kind of compliance as you're going through and performing the work for the government customer. We're here to help you in that journey. We like to say that selling to the government is different than selling in the commercial market because it takes patience and continuous learning to just make sure that you have all the capacity and necessary systems in place in order to be successful. The government buying cycle can be a lot longer than the typical commercial cycle that you'd see. You have to seek out the information and seek out the opportunities when you're working with the government. You can't just sit back and wait for the phone to ring. It's one of those things is that it does take an active process in order to identify opportunities, get yourself known, and work through the different opportunities to find the ones that are the right match for your company. To do this, we recommend a linear and logical step-by-step process. The thing about government contracting is, you're not going to learn it in one day, and we're here to help you on the journey. So first, it's always good to getting registered in all the different systems that you might um, need to be registered in order to be eligible to provide a quote, for an opportunity. And also evaluate what you do. So when you evaluating yourself, you're kind of understanding, where am I in my contract readiness? So you might want to take a self-evaluation of your what's the best product or service you can offer, what differentiates you from the competitors, and plan around that. Plan about also learning which agencies buy what you sell. And so when you do the planning and you do the exploring and learning, then you're going to be prepared to pursue and put quotes in and hopefully achieve great results or get a contract award. It is a step-by-step process, and that's one thing, is to really be persistent and patient when you're tackling this new market for your company. So we're here to help, and we really can help take you through all the different parts step by step. So you can work with your advisor. I think I probably said that 5 times already, but remember that probably one of the first steps for federal contracting is going to be the SAM registration. Then you can also register for the state of Montana EMAX system. That's a vendor registration required to work with the state of Montana. Agency registration, sometimes you might have the right products or service for certain agencies, and a few like FEMA, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and so on, may have their own registration sites. You can also register as a small business vendor with a large prime. So maybe you have a specialized field and you can help on larger projects, but you can't do all the work of a full, huge, $5 million construction project. So when you register with the prime, then and partner with others, then you can maybe have a seat at the table on those larger projects. And then some cities and counties and other states besides Montana will have registration systems as well. So we like to help you learn how to market your product or service to the government customer. And there are some great marketing tools and processes that you can use. The primary one that is used in lots of outreach to government customers is the capability statement. It's a resume for your company that talks about your core competencies, your differentiators, and your past performance. It's a very simple one-page document, and we can provide you with examples and tools to help you put your capability statement together. It's very specific, and it's a very simple document to put together, but it's great to be used at matchmaking events, or when you want to do outreach to a certain agency, you can provide copies of it to them, either electronically or if you ever have a chance to meet in person. It's a great tool, and we do recommend that you could work on that. The next marketing tool we like to talk about is an SBA profile. When you registered in SAM, you talked about the type and size of business you are, but you can add more robust information about your company at the SBA Connect website. The Apex Accelerator Advisor can show you where to go to put in some additional information in your SBA profile, which will allow agencies to search for you on the website called the Dynamic Small Business Search. It's the SBA's website that agencies use to search for businesses either by location, NAICS code, or type of industry. So that's a really important step to do when you're getting started in government contracting. Also, you might want to refresh your website or create a website if you don't have one already. A lot of times, websites are now the new telephone book or the new yellow pages. And that is really how a lot of agencies find companies that might be nearby. The capability statement can also be uploaded to your website, so it's easy to find and can be, some agency can just go download it quickly. You will want, business cards and brochures as well. And you want to develop a marketing pitch. So if you do outreach to government customer, you have a target audience, you have a chance to talk to someone on the phone, you need to be very clear and concise about what you say. And so doing a 30-second focus pitch to target how you can be a solution provider, what you do, what sets you apart, and what you're best at. So even practicing these types of pitches in front of the mirror or with your business partner or friend, you can get practice in doing that, because sometimes that's one of the hardest steps in marketing, is talking to other people and really explaining what you do well. So we talked about the dynamic small business search, and that's the SBA profile. I already talked a little bit about how it's a website where agencies search for companies that are registered in SAM. Your SAM registration automatically populates this website, but there doesn't have all these extra parts, keywords, capability narrative, and past performance that you can add by updating your profile. So work with your Apex advisor, and they'll walk you through the steps on how to do this. Are there any questions right now? Okay.
None in the chat, Patty, either.
Oops, I went too far. Thank you. Thanks, Lynette. So the next thing we like to talk about is about the small business set aside. The set asides are, well, I'm not going to try to explain set aside first. Let me just talk about the small business certifications. So when most of our Montana businesses are considered small business, and that's based on the size standards that are set by the SBA. And within the small business structure, there are certain socioeconomic categories where you may be eligible for and may want to get certified in through the SBA's certification programs. And these include service disabled, veteran owned, woman owned, hub zone, and small disadvantaged business. So the government has goals to hire so many small businesses to do government contracts. And so you can see their goals are written on this page. So actually they raised the service disabled veteran one to 5%. And I just looked that up today, and I realized we need to update our slideshow. But all of these areas, if you meet the ownership and control criteria for these areas, you own 51% or more, and you run the business, You can work with your Apex advisor to learn more about the certification programs, and then they do give you a leg up in contracting because the government can then set aside these the solicitations for these different categories. So if you can also read more at the federal regulation 19.502, setting aside acquisitions, to learn more about what a set aside is. It's basically the government has different methods they can use for set asides, but remember, everything up to $250,000 in value is going to be set aside for small business. And that's the advantage of being a small business. Okay. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is another marketing tool that can help save you some time. For some businesses, the Montana Apex bid match service is a helpful tool. So our bid match service is offered at no cost to our clients, to our active clients. And it monitors websites and scrapes data from city, county, state, and federal postings and then can create an email to you. So you would work with your Apex advisor and create the search criteria for the bid match based on keywords for your company's offerings. And then when we put that together, you would then be emailed automatically a daily digest of the opportunities that match your product and service categories. Okay. Sometimes this program is not great for companies that sell low dollar amount items. And so you'll just need to discuss that with your advisor, because, for example, at sam.gov, the public search where they can search for these opportunities for you through the bid match profile, they're all going to be above $25,000 or more. So that's what's posted at SAM. And so sometimes smaller opportunities for smaller dollar amounts do take other types of marketing to identify. We talked a little bit about this earlier to kind of understand yourself in order to get help explain what you do and get known by the government buyers and buying teams. The key considerations are to understand, what does your company solve? How do you stand out from the competition? And understand your customer too. One of the best things you can do when you're wanting to enter the government marketplace is to research the target customer. So what's the agency's mission? How do they buy what you sell? What do they buy? Is there a certain part of the agency that only buys your product, or does all the sub-agencies buy that product? There's a lot to learn, and a lot of research goes into that process. And so we can help guide you through understanding how to identify these key considerations so that you can be successful and connect to the correct people and agencies. One of the ways also to be successful in this market is to start small. You want to be able to identify who your market is and then see what kind of smaller opportunities you can find with those agencies. And you also, you could team up with other companies and do subcontracting or find a small business partner to help you. Maybe someone that's already doing government contracts you could partner with. There's a lot of great ways to get started in this market. So one of the places we like to show you to go, and so all these links will be in the slides that we're sending. So is this National Association of State Procurement Professionals. The NASPO website has a listing of all the state procurement sites. A little bit later in the presentation, we're going to go into the our state procurement site. But if you, let's say you wanted to sell your products in Wyoming or Idaho, you can go out here and find the right site. Just about every large county and city in our state has their own procurement site where they list opportunities. And so you can, I think one of the best way to search that is to search for the city name, like the word Missoula, and then a space and the word procurement. And it'll take you to Missoula County and Missoula City websites. This is example of the one in Billings, but and also your Apex advisor can help you, kind of identify where those procurement websites are for the cities and counties. Some of the cities and counties are too small to have them in our state, where we have a lot of counties. So just know if you go to a county that's nearby, that's a larger county, you usually will find these types of websites. And then we have this link here. This is my favorite link of all time, because we work a lot with the USDA or the Forest Service here in Montana, especially in Western Montana. And so I'm going to try to go out to this and just show you this link, because remember when I said that the SAM opportunities are only $5,000 and above. The 3 offices of the Region 1 Forest Service. Can you see that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 3 offices of the Region 1 Forest Service will sometimes post smaller opportunities out at their own website. And when you go here, you can see current projects less than 25,000. You click on the hyperlink. And when we click on this, there might not be anything out here right now, but if you came out, some of these are really pretty old from 2023. So maybe on this zone, the Intermountain Zone number 2, they haven't updated it recently. That's our Western Montana zone here. But if we go back to the East Side acquisition team and then the Idaho acquisition team links at the bottom, you can see if they have anything posted. It just takes a few minutes to come out here, and sometimes you might see some things that you could provide. I've seen window installations, roofing projects, a copier printer, refrigerated trailer, all kinds of different things posted out here. So it's really a great website. If you just take a few minutes once a month or something and come out, or every couple of weeks, of course, then like the East Side teams, they show you the recent things that they've bought. So all of these opportunities are going to be under $25,000. Okay. Okay, back to the show. Okay.
You're back.
Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to talk about purchasing thresholds. And this is one way you can identify where your product or service fits within the government market. Because the government has, both federal and state governments have different rules on how they can procure different priced items. So for example, if your product you never sell anything over $10,000, most of the time the government is going to purchase those types of items through a credit card, or the government purchasing card is what they call it, a GPC. Those are never advertised, and there's no formal ordering procedures to use a credit card for the like a one-time purchase of something that's $10,000. So the government can, Forest Service can walk into Murdoch's and buy $10,000 worth of fencing one time. But if they had to buy that fencing every quarter, they would have to put together a competitive quote and get at least 2 people to quote on it. If the opportunity is going to be between 10 and 25,000, it's going to use a simplified acquisition process. Sometimes these are not advertised either, but sometimes they are posted locally. You may get sometimes the government will call and ask for quotes. They'll check different websites to see who's registered in SAM, and then they'll get a verbal or simple quote, and then pick the choice of the best value to the government. And that's how they'll pick the vendor. They have to find at least 2. But know that anything under $25,000 are not going to be like posted to a website somewhere. 25,000 to 250,000 all set aside for small business. Simplified acquisition process is also used, but these by law are advertised on sam.gov contract opportunities. And so in sam.gov contract opportunities, that's where you would be able to look for these opportunities. And then, and remember, anything under 250,000 is going to normally be reserved for small business. But then anything over 250 is also going to be advertised on SAM or posted at sam.gov contract opportunities. And it's called full and open competition. It doesn't mean that small businesses cannot bid on those size opportunities, but definitely there's going to be more large businesses competing for these contracts. And then there's some references down at the bottom about FAR 13 that talks about the simplified acquisition procedures, FAR Part 6 that talks about full and open competition. So those are 2 parts that talk about the federal competition requirements. Any questions?
None so far, Patty.
Okay, thanks so much. The other thing when you're working with federal agencies or trying to target the federal customer, you need to understand that in the federal government, they have contracting teams, and there's a lot of different people that have different roles. So the end user is really may be your neighbor next door, works for the Forest Service, tells you they have a problem with their fence posts or something, right? That would, you could say, yes, we can help you if that's what you do, is design and sell fence posts. Program managers are the experts. When you work with the program manager, or you have a chance to talk to the program manager, they're the ones that are defining all the specific and technical management of every solicitation. They are the experts on what has to be procured. And so you want to understand, since they're the experts, if you are an expert at a certain thing, that's the type of talking you would do to that role at the government. The contracting officer's job is they are the ones allowed to do the business of the government. They write the solicitations and execute the contracts, but they may not be experts at the product or service that they're procuring. So the message to those buyers is that you're a credible bidder, that you are responsive and responsible. Those are things that role in government might like to hear from you. And then the small business specialists, they're with every agency, and often the sub-agencies have their own small business specialists as well. But the small business specialist is here to help you learn how the government buys what you sell. And they advise small business on buying opportunities, and the best way to find them, these different individual people, or the offices of small business for the agencies, I find, is using a Google search that uses this acronym OSDBU, and then a space, and then the agency you want to search. So when you do that Google search, then it will take you to the Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization for that agency. Occasionally, it will only take you to what they call the Small Business Office. Some agencies have kind of shortened the name, and so you'll see those small business specialists' contact information will be listed at these websites. And for some agencies, there's only like one email or one phone number to call to. So just know the experience across all government is not going to be exactly the same when you're doing the research online. Next, we're going to talk about the state of Montana purchasing thresholds. So the state of Montana can buy low dollar items under $10,000 with just using a purchase order. It's a very streamlined process for the state. They also, the next level up for state of Montana is limited solicitations, and that would be for services valued between 10,000 and 100,000 for supplies and services. They use the limited solicitation procedures. That requires a minimum of 3 written and oral quotations. And they would then be able to select the vendor from those 3. Then anything over 100,000 is a formal solicitation. Those are always going to be competitive opportunities, invitations for bids, or requests for proposals. And all those formal solicitations are carried out using Emacs. The limited solicitations are also carried out using Emacs, and the Emacs stands for the Electronic Montana Acquisition System. And so we're going to go take a quick visit there. So we'll show you a little bit more around the state website. All right, so the state procurement services division, their website is SPB, so Sam, Patty, Bob .mt.gov. And when you get to the home page here, you're going to see that there's a very good top menu here. I usually like to show my clients the vendor resources page first, because it has a lot of great information for vendors. And the Emacs resource page talks about how to do the vendor registration. If you work with your Apex advisor, they can walk you through the steps to register an Emacs. There's also a great YouTube channel that the state has put together that has a lot of help videos on Emacs. One of the things about registering at Emacs, the state uses a different type of coding system for their procurements. and they call them commodity codes. So before you get started on your Emacs registration, you want to be sure to download the list of the commodity codes. They're 4-digit codes that are very specific, and it's always good to study that list before registering with the state in this vendor portal. Other resources on this page are the agency procurement contacts. If you needed to understand who's in charge of buying for the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, you would be able to come here and find the contact information for the contracting officers for the different agencies within the state. Okay. I really like the website here because it's very transparent and there's just a lot of really great information, including a link to us, the Montana Apex Accelerator, where we work closely with the state on a lot of training events, and so we are here to help you with this process too. The other thing I like to show everyone is the procurement forecast. The procurement forecast right now is the full year for 2025. A lot of times when you click on this procurement forecast, it might only show 1 quarter at a time, but I noticed that now they have this whole fiscal year, and when it launches, it opens up a large spreadsheet, and it's easy to scroll through the spreadsheet and see what the plan is. I'm afraid it may not show exactly. It's going to be pretty tiny when I click on it here. Let's see. It does download it to your website. And so let's see if I can drag it over. See if you can you see that?
Yes, Patty, we can see it.
Okay. So you can scroll through the list and it has a little project description. And then if you go to this left side, it tells you kind of when they anticipate buying these different items. And so going through this list can help you prepare and plan, and also do outreach to the agencies. If you provide certain types of products and services, you would quickly be able to scroll through this list and kind of make a plan for reaching out to the specific buyers and making sure you're registered in Emacs, and also ready to watch for those. The one thing, when you're registered in Emacs and you use the correct commodity codes that match your product or service, you're going to get automated emails from the state of Montana when there's opportunities. Okay, so that's a really a nice way to learn about what's coming up. Also, from the homepage here, you can go and search the bid and proposal site. It's a pretty easy filtering system that can show you the open for bid, upcoming, closed, awarded, or all. And then also on the homepage, if you go down to the very bottom, they have these big links too that have a lot of great information for the procurement, how to do the procurement, how it works. We can walk you through using the Emacs system and submitting quotes through Emacs. We will help you with that. And then at the very bottom of the page here, I'm going to move it over a little bit. Sorry. Okay. There's a button, an orange button, and it says contact us. And so I always like this part because it has all the help desk people for the agency at the bottom here. And so let's say you're in the middle of putting a quote together and something freezes on your computer, or you're not sure what to do next. As long as you can call and get help from the Emacs team, the help team. And there's other great people who do the different agency procurement roles in the administrative side of our state procurement office. Okay. So back to the All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is acquisition.gov. We talked a little bit about state forecasts, but at acquisition.gov, you can go and look up the forecast for any federal agency. It's a really robust tool that can help you understand what's coming up. And I'm not going to go right out there to look at it right now because we're kind of getting towards the end of our getting close to getting to our question and answer time. But this is a great website. There's a lot of good information at acquisition.gov, and it does house the entire federal acquisition regulation. There, you can look up anything in the FAR at that website. But what I do recommend is that businesses that are starting out is to go out to the forecasts and see what's coming up. And the more you learn about how an agency buys what you sell, the more successful you'll be in the long run. And so that's why we recommend doing a lot of different kinds of research to kind of learn about your customer. Another way to do the market research is to use these two websites. Both track award spending for federal opportunities, federal buys. The USAspending.gov website is got a robust filter that allows you to search for, the USA Spending tracks every dollar the government spends. So when you get to the filter in USA Spending, you want to narrow it just by contract awards, not grant awards or things like that. Your government, the government contracting advisor near you can walk you through the process of how to do searches out at USA Spending and how to export profiles of the agencies or find other resources at USA Spending that can help inform your marketing plan for government buyers. And the Federal Procurement Data Systems does feed the information in FPDS is populated in USA Spending, but it's just formatted in a little bit different way. And so sometimes I find companies and even myself sometimes like to go out to FPDS to just do some quick lookups because it's a little bit simpler web interface, okay? So one of the things that we talked about earlier is where do you find these contract opportunities? So ones that are over $25,000 are going to be at SAM.gov contract opportunities. You can always learn more by watching these videos on how it works to do the save searches and also how to do the actual basic searching in SAM. The most important thing when you go to SAM.gov and want to search contract opportunities is to log in. When you're logged into SAM, you will have more features and more information displayed so that you can see the more details about the opportunities. So log into SAM with your credentials, your login.gov credentials. Then you go to, SAM is one website with 7 domains. So whatever you're searching for in SAM, you need to make sure you select the correct domain. So you're going to search contract opportunities, select contract opportunities, and then fill out the filter on the left side of that page for advanced search. And you can filter by agency, by the product codes, by the North American industry codes. There's a lot of really great ways to filter the information in SAM. And again, this is one of the skills that you can learn from your Apex advisor. We can walk you through so you feel comfortable doing those searches. One of the best things about going out to SAM and searching is just, to play around with it. You're not going to mess with anything, it's not going to mess anything up or anything by just playing around and looking at different things. And the more reading you do and identifying the different types of opportunities that you might see out there or notices that you would see out there, you'll just continue to learn more. So, what is a government-led innovation program? So we also can help guide you through learning if innovative program is right match for your company. Government-led innovation programs are used to tap into special innovation needs that agencies might have, and you may have an idea, or you may be able to provide a solution. And it's not for every type of business, but there might be some companies on our call today that are curious about this area, and you can reach out to your Apex advisor and talk a little bit more if it's a good fit for your capabilities. There are a lot of different ways that government-led innovation programs are posted and places they're posted and how they're used, so we can demystify that. And I think that that is a really great way if you have if you're in an innovative if you have an innovative product or service. Okay. The FAR, the Federal Acquisition Regulations, called the FAR. As I mentioned, the entire FAR is at acquisition.gov. And there are some important parts when you're getting started with government contracting to understand. So, we can help talk to you about the different types of contracting. Competitive requirements are in part six. Acquisition of commercial items, that's items that are available commercially. That's in FAR Part 12. And so that's also a very streamlined process that's used for contracting for basic products and services that are available commercially. There's a really good section in Part 19 and Part 26 that talks about small business, the small business certification programs, what qualifies as a small business, and also how set-asides are done for small business. So that's in Part 19 and 26. Occasionally, a company changes their name or buys another company, so you can find out information about novation and name changes if you're an existing government contract holder in Part 42. And again, all of the Apex advisors can help you review and find the right information that is available either through your solicitation or agreement, and can explain this. We are subject matter experts for the FAR, and so that's how we can help you with your federal agreements. There are some other contracting vehicles. GSA schedule is not always the entry into government contracting, and it's does take a lot of bandwidth to put together an offer on the GSA multiple award schedule, but we can help you through that process. Some small businesses also find traction on the Unison Marketplace. It's a reverse auction site that allows quick turnaround times, kind of like the eBay for government federal contracting. So it has quick turnaround times, bids the lowest price wins. And it's not a very complicated process. So certain companies that sell commodities, or also when there's an urgent need for the government to buy something, you might find like a quick that they use this path for buying. So that is the conclusion of our webinar today. We have some contact information on the last page here. And if you want to reach out to the Apex advisor near you, you can go to our locations page and find that colorful map and reach out to one of our centers here. You'll see there's a listing down here of how to reach people. With that, I'm going to stop sharing. Is there any questions or anything I can help with? Don't be shy. I'm happy to help answer questions.
Patty, you did such a good job and covered everything. There were no questions.
That's right. So, remember, you know how to find us. Unless there's some questions, I'm happy to stay on, but we can finish the meeting now unless there's anything. Think we're probably pretty good, looks like. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. We really appreciate it. And we'll be here for you.
And we will be emailing a copy of the presentation. There was that question in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
And lots of people saying thank you.
All right, that's great.